Hey guys, it's Brighton with One Mom to Another. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about safe co-sleeping with a newborn or a young child or even an older child. I did some research this morning and found a few different tips on safely co-sleeping with a newborn. I know that co-sleeping is kind of a controversial subject. When my daughter was born, the doctor strongly recommended us to have her in a separate bed in our room. And that is still considered co-sleeping, having them on a separate surface in your room. But today I want to talk more about safe bed sharing and co-sleeping with a child closer to you than just in the room. I used two sources with my research. The first is AskDrSears.com and the second is WikiHow.com, and I will put both the links to those posts below. So I want to just jump right in and talk about some steps that you can take to safely co-sleep with your child, whether it be bed sharing or sidecaring, or also just in the same room. Just some safety tips that you can take for safe sleeping for your infant. So the first thing is, if you're going to have your child in bed, it's best that you are breastfeeding them, because breastfeeding mothers are more in tune to what their baby sleep cycle is like. Because if they're waking to nurse, their bodies are preparing to feed their baby. So they're a little bit more conscious. They're intensely aware of their babies and they share a sleep cycle. So it helps a lot if you are breastfeeding versus bottle feeding. The second step to safe co-sleeping would be to sleep on a firm surface. The softer the bed is, the more likely the child is to roll. And if they're rolling, then there's a higher risk of suffocation. So you want to really make sure that you aren't sleeping with them on a water bed. You don't want to sleep on anything that's got too soft, like a feather top, or anything that's too cushy. You want it to be pretty firm so that they are able to stay facing upright and not rolling over. Another step that you want to take is make sure that they have enough space. The bigger the bed, the better. If you're trying to co-sleep on a teeny tiny little bed, it's probably not going to work as well as it would on a king-size bed, because there will be less space for the baby, so there's less space to give them so that they can be sure to breathe well. Make sure that your sheets are really tight on your bed, that they aren't loose and floppy, and also take all the extra bedding, the extra pillows, stuffed animals, extra kids, everything that you can out of your bed. Keep it to a minimum. The more stuff that there is, the more likely that they are to get it in their breathing path, which could cause suffocation. So another tip would be to stay close to your baby. Mothers are really aware of their child, so you want to stay close to them so that you can be able to react quickly and keep them safe. Keeping them in between mom and dad probably isn't as safe as keeping the child in between mom and a bed rail or a wall. So you want to make sure that mom is there to protect the baby. My husband is a hard sleeper. I know that in a second he would roll over on a baby, so there's no way that I'm going to put a baby next to him. Hi, sweetie. So, here, we'll move it over so you can see Maylee. The next tip would be to fill all the gaps. Make sure that if you are having the bed against a wall, that there's no gap in between the mattress and the wall. What you doing?
Stand up.
You want to stand up? No. Here, sit on my lap. So fill any gaps that you can with body pillows, or just make sure that there's not a chance of them rolling into a hole and getting stuck and not being able to get out. Always put your baby to sleep on their back, except for, of course, when you're nursing, they'll be most likely on their side. If they're on their back, there's less of a chance for something getting in their way of breathing well. And so that will help prevent them from suffocating. lower your bed when they get older so that they don't have as much of a risk of falling off of the bed, or if they do fall off the bed, make sure that there's soft ground underneath them and also that they're as low to the ground as possible. So those are just some tips that can help you to have safe co-sleeping. Here are some warnings, some things that you really don't want to do when you're co-sleeping. And the first is you really don't want to co-sleep if you're under the influence of any drug, alcohol, or even like a strong painkiller or sleep aid. Anything that is going to alter your normal sleep patterns or make you sleep heavier is really dangerous to sleep with your child, because you won't be as aware of them and of their sleep cycle. So it's just really not a good idea. I strongly suggest you not to do it if you are under the influence of anything. On the same note, if you're just plain out exhausted and you feel like you're going to sleep really hard that night and you won't be able to pay as close of attention to your child, it's probably not a good idea to co-sleep that night. You need to be sure that you're dressed correctly and your baby is dressed correctly for co-sleeping. You don't want to wear a lot of loose clothes with strings or anything that they could put in their mouth and choke on, or that they could get wrapped up in. And on the same note, you don't want to swaddle your baby, because if they can't get their arms loose, then they aren't able to roll themselves back over or protect themselves from things getting in the way of their mouth for breathing. So you want to make sure that your baby is dressed appropriately for sleeping, but you don't want them in anything too baggy that could ride up and suffocate them. Don't allow extra kids in the bed. I know that sometimes older kids want to sleep with you as well, but it's not a good idea. My bangs won't stay out of my face. It's not a good idea to have older kids in the bed because they aren't as aware of the baby and the baby's needs like the mother is. Some more warnings, or some more things not to do would, of course, be not to sleep with them on a beanbag, a couch, any soft surface where the baby is more likely to roll into you because it's too soft. So keep it to a firm bed. Don't sleep with them on the couch or a beanbag or a lazy boy. Those things can tend to get a little scary. Also avoid wearing like perfumes and things that would cause their breathing to be not normal. Any like perfumes or hairspray or heavy things like that. So those are my tips on co-sleeping. As always, just use your own judgment. Do your own research. Find out the things that you need to change in your bedroom if you would like to try co-sleeping. Just use common sense. Be sure that what you're doing is safest for your baby. If it's safer for your baby to sleep in a bed across the room, then that's great. Just do what is best for you and your family. Be sure that you're practicing safe sleeping with your baby. Always be sure that baby is looked after first. For us, we plan on using a sidecar against our bed. So some other ideas would be to get the Arms Reach Co-Sleeper, which is a sidecar that is a crib specifically designed for sidecarring. And that's another way that you might be able to co-sleep safely. The baby has their own space, but they're still really close to you, and so you're able to pay attention to their sleep patterns, and you're able to get them quickly as they start to wake up in the night for nursing. So I strongly urge you guys to go do your own research and find out what will work out best for your family. And as always, just be super, super safe. So I hope you guys are all having a great Monday, and I will see you next week. Bye.